Good afternoon. I was just contacted for the second time by a buyer who wanted to know information about returning an item or exchanging or whatnot. All of my items are FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. So when a person buys, either they own a Prime membership or they don't. If they own a Prime membership, they will get the item within 2 days, no shipping. If they're not Prime members, they have to spend a certain amount of money. I believe it's $35. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then they can get free shipping. Not 2-day shipping, but they can get free shipping. So therefore, if you have Prime membership and you buy one of my Prime offers, wouldn't you know that you have to contact Amazon when it comes to dealing with returns or any of those types of issues? The last person that contacted me today said that they got an empty box from Amazon instead of the CD that they ordered from me. And I sent in the CD, so therefore Amazon made a mistake. I sent a message back to the person, let the person know that they have to contact Amazon customer service, and I gave them the number. Amazon handles all the shipping, all the returns, any issues that have to do with not getting something on time or getting the wrong item or getting no item. That's on them, because I did not ship the CD. So I don't understand these people that don't understand that. I'm pretty sure that the person that sent me the message is a Prime member. Not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure. However, even if you're not a Prime member, don't people understand that they got a Prime offer and therefore Prime means that it comes from Amazon and not from the seller? Perhaps not. Maybe I'm just being naive and a lot of people don't understand that. So I'm a little confused. Let me know if you've had this happen to you before, or numerous times, or a few times. It's not a huge annoyance. I just have to send the message to the person and let them know that Amazon customer service will deal with it. So this person's gonna have to get their CD in some way, and a big apology from Amazon, not to give me negative feedback because I had nothing to do with it. Even if they did, I can get rid of it. So it's not a big deal. So just wondering about that, and if you've had an issue like that. So there is the buyer contacting me about the shipping issue, and then I just saw this post on Facebook about a guy who's worried about starting FBA, who basically has done everything except send his first shipments in, and he's worried about the fees more than anything else, feeling that the fees will eat up the bulk of his profits and that whether or not the items will actually sell. And these are all valid points. FBA fees are depending upon the item, depending upon how much the item is selling for, as well as the weight handling fee. So the dimensions of it, the weight of it, that will affect how much you're going to be charged for them to ship it. So a CD is much less than a bigger book, let's say. A tiny book, a tiny paperback, thin paperback, the dimensions are a little bit more, but it's still not that much. But a CD, because it's small and very lightweight, is going to be one of the better things to do FBA in terms of paying less for shipping. So if you have a new toy that's in a rather large box, it might not be heavy, but because it takes up space, that's going to cost a little bit more. Not to mention that the profits aren't necessarily there. So that's kind of that was the overall point I wanted to make. I saw this guy's post and I understand where he's coming from, and I would say it depends on what type of items he's trying to resell. What is he starting with? Is he starting with RA stuff? So with boxed items, are they smaller, lightweight, or are they bigger? So that's one issue, is shipping them and whether the fee will be more. Another issue is, are these RA items where there's not much profit, where if you're getting 100% profit, then you're really excited. And I see that all the time on one of the Facebook groups that I was a part of, where most of the people there sold RA, and they were super excited if they did over 100%. Some of them were even saying, oh, I average 30% return on investment. There's a very thin profit margin. So even if you're doing 200%, so 1 time, 2 times, 3 times your money, getting up to 3 and 4 times, then we're getting a little bit better. If you're buying an item for $10 and it's selling on Amazon for $20, and then the fees eat into the profit, of course, so you end up not making that much profit. If it's selling for a lot more, great. But my overall point is that RA tends to have thinner margins. So instead of getting 8 to 10 times, which is what I get on average for my books and other items. The very lowest I'll get is about 3 times. But 5 to 10 times is my general range, and it's closer to 8 and up on average. And certain books will just be ridiculous, and I'll get 20, 30 times my money, as well as some other random items like VHS, bigger VHS sales or bigger CD sales. But still, 5 to 10 times my money on books, CDs, VHS tapes is incredible. Whereas with RA, so talking to this guy, it's going to cost you a little bit more to source and to ship if the items are bigger. If they're in boxes, you have to use a bigger box. The dimensions will bring up the price, that sort of thing. Versus books, CDs, especially if you just start with books, it's really inexpensive. They take up less space. They weigh a little bit more, but they take up less space. You can ship 50 books across the country using UPS through Amazon for maybe $30, $35, depending upon if they're heavier books or less heavy books, hardback versus paperback. There's other variables, but basically it's not that expensive. And then once you start selling those books, you can make back all that money pretty quick. So there's so many factors. But the 2 big ones are you doing RA or are you doing media? Because a lot of people start in RA and they get frustrated because the profit margins are so thin and they have to put out so much money. Not only for sourcing, but also for inbound shipping. Some of the positive things about RA, especially if you're just starting, is you can flip items quicker. And that would be the only reason I would do it, is if I find items that sell really fast. Like those golf balls I found that sold immediately upon hitting the warehouse. All 3 of them sold. All 3 of the boxes of golf balls sold within a few days of hitting the warehouse. I didn't make much profit, but they sold so fast that I would gladly spend money on buying another 50 of those because I know they would sell extremely quickly. That's a big benefit to doing a lot of the RA stuff, is if you're finding it in the store, chances are that it's selling quickly on Amazon. Even if you're only making $2, $3, $4, $5 or 100% on your money, then at least you're getting the money back quick and you can go out and source more. So there's all those variables, right? Is it RA? Is it media? Well, it's up to you. You need to have a little bit more money to do RA from what I have seen and from what I understand. Whereas with books, you could start with a couple $100. Let's say you have $100 for sourcing, $50 for inbound shipping, okay, and then a little bit extra money to cover monthly storage fees for a few months or whatever it is. $100. So let's say you spend $1 per item, send in 100 items. Let's say they're books, maybe a few CDs, but mostly books. Here's where the other factor comes in: is do you know how to source? Are you sending in books that are way long tail? Are they more medium? Are they short term? So are they quick flips? The quicker that you can flip the books, then the quicker you can get your money back. Although the quicker flips might not be as much profit, so it's good to have a mix. So that's what I say. If you're going to start this FBA business with media, you have to have patience, but you don't need that much money. So if you have a good mixture of quick sellers and long tail, so I would say more of items that can sell within a month to 3 months. Anything to 3 to 6 months, a little bit longer. And of course, 6 to 12, forget about it. It's going to be so long that you're going to be not even thinking about it. And that was one of the biggest issues with me when I first started. I sourced way too many long tails. And many of them were not good long tails, which is why I had to drop so many prices after them being there over a year. So if you're doing media, I'm talking to this guy again, if you're doing media, then I would maybe do like 30-70, right? Like 70% quicker sellers, 30% a little bit longer, 3 to 6 months, maybe a little bit beyond for a few. But when you're just getting your feet wet, you want to be making money so depending on if you're paying the $40 a month for the pro seller account, it's up to you. But if you're not, then you still need to cover your inbound shipping costs and your monthly storage fees, which are not much at all if you only have 100, 150 items to start, and if you're selling some right away. So don't worry about that. It's more of sourcing the right products. That's the biggest thing I would say. If you're going to start, I would recommend doing media, and I would recommend doing books, some CDs. VHSs are a little bit slower, but I would mostly focus on books and then learn about the rest of the media items as you go along. But there's plenty of books that you can make profit on, 3 to 5 times your profit, that'll sell quickly. So that's what I would recommend to this guy. If he doesn't like books, doesn't like doing books, then you're going to have to do RA, and you're going to have a little bit more money. I don't know exactly how much. People that do RA should know a little bit more, but you might have to have maybe $500 instead of $200, $300. I don't know. It depends on how much you're buying. What kind of items are they? Are they pricier? Are they not as expensive? Do you have a good source where you're finding lots of clearance stuff? It just depends. Also, you could be sourcing online instead of going to the retail shops. I feel his worry and his pain, especially when you're first starting, because I was super freaked out about whether stuff would sell and whether this thing would work at all after I was sending some shipments in, which is why I wasn't consistent about the shipments, because I didn't believe I could actually make money selling books. Then when I sold my first book, I couldn't believe it. And then I sold a couple more. In December, I sold like 8 in 2014. And then I kept selling. And by March and April, I was selling over 20 items a month. And that's when I started kicking up the sourcing and the shipping more consistently. But for me, it took a while, and I had to learn. I had a long learning curve for which books to buy. Partially, it was stubborn. It was saying, oh, well, I know it's ranked 5 million, but I'm sure it'll sell. It won't take that long. Not realizing, no, that's going to take like a year to sell. And I should have stayed more towards a lot of items under 500,000 rank, consistent 500,000 rank, and then some more to 500, a million, maybe a couple in the millions, and then just stick to that for now until I get better about what to source, and then I can start picking some long tails. Of course, if you have the money and it's not that big a deal to have items sit, then you can definitely work on your long tails from the beginning. This video, once again, is on 2 different topics, but this is a daily vlog, and these are the things floating in my head and stuff that I think about and that I've come across. So that's how these videos sometimes are going to go. They're not always going to be as focused. I hope if you're in the same boat as this guy is, if you're just starting, if you haven't started yet, you're worried about fees, you're worried about losing money, recommend doing books. Books are a unique niche in FBA from what I've experienced and what other people have said, but they don't cost as much, so you don't have to put out so much money. And there should be plenty of books that you could find at yard sales, at estate sales, at thrift stores especially, and even if you want to hit up some book sales. If you can just send in quicker selling ones or mostly quicker selling books, because when you start seeing sales, even if the books are only $9.95, $10.95, $8.75, $13.95, in that range, let's say from 9 to 13 or so, but if you're selling, it feels good and you are making money and you see, oh, these are the kind of books that I can sell. Let me get more of those. And then you slowly start to get your feet wet with longer tail as you get more towards being in the business 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. Then you'll start to see some of that more expensive stuff sell. And then you can get your feet wet in other items like I did with CDs and vinyl and VHS. So I feel his pain, and I just recommend starting media and starting books and just going that route. RA never really interested me. Making money interests me, but I have to like it. I have to enjoy it. I think to me it's just kind of thrilling to find random stuff at Target or wherever, Walmart, and to send it in just because it's different. Doing that all the time, I don't think I would like that. But it is fun to do it once in a while, and making money is making money. And it's not that much more work. And I'm not spending a ton of money on this stuff. I'm not spending $20 on one item to sell it for $40, which I would do if I found the right one. But those golf balls were $2 a box, so I spent $6. I think they sold for $12 and change each, so it's $37 total minus fees. So I made decent profit, but I didn't have to put out that much money. So let me know about if you get contacted from buyers who seem to think that you as an FBA seller shipped it to them when they should be contacting customer service, and also any advice you might have for this person or anybody in their shoes when they're starting the business. I could do a whole series about starting the business, and maybe I should, I don't know. But hopefully that's some decent advice if you're new. And remember, if you're new, as always, keep booking.